Look at Bo over there doing some exploring. Come here, Bo. There he is. Good boy. Good boy. Did you find anything? Oh, yeah. Past couple campsites, Bo has been a little apprehensive. Definitely some different noises, sounds, and smells for both of us. It's definitely wilder up here in the Colorado Mountains, that's for sure. Bo, is that a bone? What do we have here? Oh, wow. What is that, like an elk or something? That's cool. More bones. Wonder what animal this could be. Heard some coyotes howling last night. There was at least half a dozen. It was pretty sweet. Bo was like, who was that? Are those my compatriots? I don't know if they'd be your friends or not, Bo. Check out my campsite last night. Gosh, this is unreal. There's one car parked over there last night. Other than that, just Bo, me, and the coyotes, and the dead bones. This trail, or this campsite, is called Lizard Head, and I'm wondering if it's because this rock right here, does that look like a lizard head to you? Maybe. All right, so I just made it down to Mesa Verde National Park. Mesa Verde is filled with cliff dwellings from Pueblo Indians, or I believe ancients is what they want to be called now. So here is the first overview in Mesa Verde. It is a really big park. I'm gonna drive like 20 miles to get to the first dwelling, so let's go. These gorgeous views. Park Point Overlook. What do you think, Bill? It's pretty cool. No wonder they built all their cliffs up here. All right, we made it to the top Mesa Overlook, where they have all these stoppings where we can check out the cliff dwellings. So you ready, Bo? Let's do it. Here's the first one, the pit house. Here is the pit house, the first dwelling along the way. Not a cliff dwelling, but sounds like a family lived here and they grew crops and stuff. All right, next we have the square tower house. Let's see what this is about. All right, this is awesome. This is the square tower house dwellings. There are 60 rooms in this dwelling, and it's just right in here in the cave. It's incredible. So looks so well preserved. A lot of preservationists have done a lot of work on it, apparently, since it was discovered in the late 1800s. But just way up here in the mountains. Definitely seems like they didn't want to be seen up here, and I can understand completely how it's much more of a defensive structure. If you had enemies around, it wouldn't be so easy for them to get you in your home. They wouldn't be able to find you, and they'd have to do some serious climbing up there while you could pelt rocks at them while they're trying to get you. There's some more Pueblo dwellings in here. This is the remnants of a former tower. This is what it used to look like. And a lot of these towers were actually connected to a lot of the cliff dwellings, it sounds like. Here's another kiva. These are these holes in the ground, it sounds like, and the towers were connected to these kivas, not the cliff dwellings, via tunnels. All right, here we have the Point Pueblo. This is one of the last top mesas built in the area around 1200 AD. And the interesting thing about all of these pueblos is they were inhabited and had buildings from 600 all the way up to like the 1300s. So this is a very popular area, and there was a lot of change over time. And from the 600 all the way up to 1300, beginning sometime around 1000 or 1100, 1200, something like that, you can see the structures becoming progressively more and more defensive looking in nature. All right, this has got to be the coolest one so far, called the Sun Point View. Come see this. All right, so it says that the move to the alcoves actually began in about 1200. Alcoves are the cliff dwellings, so it says there's about 30 cliff dwellings in this canyon. So let me see if I can show you some. There's one in the distance right there. Way over there you can see one just right under that ledge. And then there's another right over there. This is all in the same vicinity. So another interesting thing that I've just learned is that they all moved to these cliff dwellings in the 1200s, but by the end of the 1200s, they were all gone. So no one really knows what happened, why they left. Maybe they were killed. Maybe they just decided it was time to go. Who knows? But it's interesting. This is definitely the coolest one right here, but really far away, so kind of hard to see. Looks like a good bit of people could have lived back there. And just a little further down the road, we have more cliff dwellings. This is called the Oak Tree House. And there's just all speckled throughout here, just in the little crevices and cracks. And it says in some of these little crevices, like up to 20, 30 people lived. Who knows how many could have been in that one right there. Could be a lot more than that. And actually it says this one right here contained up to 60 rooms, which is a lot more than most. And now we have the fire temple, which looks sweet. It says this one looked much more like a public gathering place, maybe where they had dances or public ceremonies and stuff. So they were all interconnected, it sounds like, and would gather together. Just look along this canyon right here. Isn't this sweet? Just all the dwellings, all aligned. They all come out to here. It's awesome. And here is a much closer view of the Cliff Palace from earlier. Just a whole community of people probably lived back there. So it said the Cliff Palace actually had 150 rooms, and it was a very centralized location. It had paths leading from it to all the villages and everywhere else. So it's estimated or theorized that it may have been some kind of governmental city center or something like that, administrative headquarters of the whole area potentially. And the last dwelling here is the Spruce Tree House. It's a nice other dwelling. Not sure how many rooms, don't see a sign, but just beneath the ledge. About a mile or two down the road from the Cliff Palace. So now I am on the Petroglyph Point Trail, which is a 2.4 mile round trail traversing the canyons and kind of seeing what these people used to, what it'd be like for them going through the sides of the canyons, moving around and stuff. Check out this narrow gap right here. Looks like some kind of carving in the rock here. I can't tell what it is, maybe some kind of animal, but it just doesn't look like that was formed naturally. Very interesting. Check this out. Here's the dwelling. You can see all these leftover bricks from when somebody used to live here and the remains of this structure. It must have been a ton of bricks in these things. Check this out. These views up here are magnificent. What it would be like to live up here back in 1200 AD. What do you think? Maybe this was a child's bedroom in here. This little area. Got some windows, a little sun, and a little privacy. Look at all these holes in the cliff wall. I wonder if these were all made and what they use it for. Check out the view of the valley below. There's some trail there. There's all these little crevices where the people could have lived. All right. Another cliff dwelling. All right, check out the petroglyphs. Made it. Look at all these wild drawings here. Got animals, horse-looking creatures, handprints, people sticking their hands straight up, some swirls, just like jagged mountains. Who knows, but this had some spiritual significance, or maybe it was just some kids just like doodling and, you know, drawing pictures, having fun. But it's all right here. And why they chose this spot, who knows, but it's pretty cool. Not sure how old it is, but pretty neat looking. The Petroglyphs. Imagine you were one of the Pueblo Indians standing on top of the cliffs up here, and you could stand over the ledge with your bow and arrow and shoot down all the attacking enemies. Do your war cries and scare everyone. All right, it's been a solid day at Mesa Verde. Got to see some awesome cliff dwellings. Got to go on a really cool trail through the canyon, traversing just like the Indians must have done. Then got to see all the petroglyph drawings. So cool. Definitely recommend, if you're ever in the area, do the Petroglyph Point Trail. You won't regret it. And then make sure you do the top Mesa Loop to see all the cool structures, and definitely the spruce tree house. It's pretty sweet too. Now time to go get some well-earned grub at Cortez after I fill up my water. So I've been driving around for like 45 minutes. All the BLM land was gated off, and in southern Colorado, just driving west, trying to find a spot. I think I finally found one. Got a little river crossing, but I'm back in the BLM land territory. So, seems good so far. Hit some rocks there, but all right. Hopefully we can find a nice spot back here. All right, made it to the camp spot for the night. Yet another gorgeous view. Just these rocks out here in this desert. It's just so wild, and there's some lights in the distance over there, but other than that, there's nobody out here. There was a sign on the road that said no off-road travel. Didn't say anything about camping because you can't say you can't camp in BLM land. It's completely legit. So I found this little area that looks like a lot of cars have driven around. It's technically on the edge of the road, not off-road. So seems legit enough to me. I mean, the worst thing that happen, I guess, is a BLM ranger shows up and kicks me out. But I think the odds of that are pretty slim, and I don't know why they would care anyway. It's just pretty annoying how all the gates were closed out here. I don't know what the deal was, and it's almost like they don't want people on this BLM land. I thought that's what it was for. So Who knows? Here's the road, and here's a little pull-off area that I pulled into, so looks good enough to me.